Hello and welcome to Universal Love Law. Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this video today. I hope it is informational and you don't have to take the information that I say today as truth. You can absolutely, completely use it as entertainment or whatever you want to use it for, ultimately, as long as it's done with respect. I wanted to create this content because I know that it's kind of challenging to believe that people may embody the characteristics of some ancient angels or ancient deities, right? Which we should never praise a deity or worship a false idol, right? But it's very important to know the characteristics of these ancient, and when I say ancient, it's a very important thing. These ancient deities, these ancient gods, these ancient angelic forces. Because if it's ancient, that means it is our ancestors. And in the flower of life, the cycle of life, there is a constant recreation and reincarnation of souls. So if one is coming again and again, of course you would believe or would think maybe we are our ancestors. Or in a sense, we are an aspect of our ancestors. So some of us may be born here with these characteristics. And so this is why we're living in a time where there are people who are self-proclaimed angels, or they may call themselves Archangel Michael, right? They feel as though they're very connected to the energy signature because they may always feel like the protector. They may feel a very fearless energy that goes through them that they notice the people around them did not have growing up. They may be very in tune with the spiritual realm, and they may embody these characteristics of these ancient deities and angels or gods or goddesses that make them have the strong belief system that they share an aspect to those ancients, right? Or those ancestors, right? And so I'm doing this for the community. Of course, there's a whole new age community where a lot of people do not like to bring clarity because they're very fascinated. They prefer to live in fascination and live in exciting world. They want to be awed and they want to be wowed with what's happening in Illuminati and all this. But true spiritual intellectual people actually are very much so historians, okay? So they are very in tune with history in order to correlate ancient information to the new information. We are living in a time where information is easily accessible. So I feel like what separates one from being mysticist or unvaluable, or not unvaluable, I would say immature, right? They haven't reached that peak of development, is one who does not practice researching, finding legitimate sources, and also being able to go back, because as above, so below. You have to remember, in this realm, there's nothing new under the sun. So it's all a repeat, and life is repeated through art. We recreate life through our art. So when things are just completely fascinating, you have to question it. There has to be a balance of some common sense in there, whether you're using science, math, or some form of history, even though history has been distorted. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie, okay? So things should be spiritual, but also things should have some logic to it as well. So the first and foremost character that I would like to start with in this series is Metatron, Enoch, and Thoth. the reason why I wanted to start with this energy signature is because I do know some people who are self-proclaimed, like very connected to the energy signature of Enoch or Metatron, right? So the reason why I put them all together is because they, throughout history, but I don't really like to say history because we know that word can be triggering, but throughout time, I would say, right? These characters have always been the same character, just told in different stories, different cultures, in different areas and parts of the world. Now, I will get into people that display the characteristics of Metatron, Enoch, or Thoth, and what those people like that are modern day, living in this present moment, that embody the energy of those ancestors, okay? Which is why you may hear them say, I am Enoch, or I am another one, Archangel Michael, or I am the embodiment of Archangel Raphael. It's different terminology used in different forms of religion and time. And so when we're talking about the ancient Egyptians, that they have their own characters, right? When we are talking about Jewish mysticism, or we're talking about the Catholic Church, we're talking about these different areas of the world, these different continents that have different beliefs, but the same character emerges throughout the text. Okay, so there's, for instance, Thoth was in the Egyptian spirituality known as the god of writing, magic, and wisdom. Okay, so another thing about Thoth is known to be Sekhmeth's sibling. Okay, now Sekhmeth is another ancient deity that I will get into next, because there are feminine energies that embody the Sekhmeth energy, and they have certain characteristics that correlate also in different cultures, religious texts, and forms of spirituality. So when it comes to Thoth, it is the same energy signature of Metatron. Why? Because these are the holders of knowledge. These are the ones who sat close to God, that were able to obtain the wisdom and knowledge of God. So that's what Thoth's character was in ancient Egyptian mythology, ancient Egyptian spirituality. This is what has been told orally and also passed down through the information that has been, kept from Egypt over time. We know Thoth to be a masculine energy, right? When it comes to Thoth, it correlates to Metatron. So the correlations between Thoth and Metatron are basically the scribe of God, information. Now, I am going to get into the characteristics, but we know this in New Age to be, right, the Akashic records, right? They like to call it that. We're all one, but and I also have used that term. But when it comes to the Akashic records, this is like the librarian, right? And this is someone that keeps information of all knowledge, information of gods and gods of gods, and the supreme being, as well as the offsprings of gods and goddesses, right? Deities and things of that nature. The one that records all history, all lifetimes. So there's a very close connection to Source and Thoth and Metatron. right? Because they are the recorders of our existence. Premortal, right? The recorders of the premortal beings, meaning before time, before man, before dawn, before the Big Bang, right? On to now, right? Present moves into Metatron, because Metatron was mentioned not in the Bible, not in the Holy Bible, not in the Christian Bible, none of that. But there were information regarding Metatron as Enoch, okay, in the Bible. So the thing about the correlation between Enoch and Metatron is very important, because when you begin to do your research on Enoch, you realize that Enoch was man and became an angel. Metatron is the only angel, and I do have a book by Doreen Virtue that I'm going to get a little bit information for you guys too, because she spoke on Metatron. But some people don't know that Enoch walked with God. This is what one said in the ancient texts of the Bible and things of that nature. So Enoch was taken by God and transformed and born into Metatron, right? Or born into the premortal Enoch, right? Or born into Enoch the scribe, right? The holy scribe, the one who is the keeper of knowledge. And so Enoch walked with God in the Bible, right, as in flesh, and was ascended from flesh into an angelic force, crowned an angel, right, with a very high authority in the tree of life, which moves into the Kabbalah. Okay, when we're talking about Metatron and then we move into Enoch, we realize that these stories correlate. Now, Thoth was always known to be a god of the holy scribe, the one who is the recorder of time. And Thoth has a really interesting picture depicted as well, not as human, as you can see. So when you take a look at Thoth, Thoth has a bird head, okay, and holds the scroll where, you know, they take all the notes in the hieroglyphics, Egyptian hieroglyphics. So, but when we go back, okay, so let's keep moving forward, but going back where we dance in this, we dance here over here. So, okay, in the Zohar, they call Metatron an angel, and they call Metatron the youth. So the Zohar, remember, like I said before, is a fundamental work in the literature of Jewish mystical thought known as the Kabbalah. Now, when we talk about Doreen Virtue, okay, she made this book called Archangels 101. Doreen Virtue, as a lot of people may know, she dealt with writing a lot of information talking about the angels, and as well as creating tarot cards, right? There's the whole Doreen Virtue, work that she denounced, okay? So, like, to this day, she went from having these beliefs from the New Age and then denouncing all her beliefs and going back to her tradition as I want to say Christian or Catholic, one of the two. The beautiful thing about learning and being intellectual and being a scholar and being a seeker of knowledge is to be able to correlate it all together. It has to make sense that way. When things go back in time, when things are ancient, the energy signatures are so big that it exists over a long period of time. And you got to understand, when it comes to energy can die. Okay, just like planets can die, supernovas, the planets can, these stars can't combust, existing for so long. But when it comes to building up of energy and building up of a deity or an angelic force or an ancient god or goddess, when we hear about these things in ancient history, you got to understand that these deities and these spiritual entities have an energy signature, a set of characteristics that the people that we have given power to. You see? So ultimately, over time, the stronger the energy signature influence of this entity, of this energy being, whether it be physical or non-physical, because a lot of the stories are merely fables that are of deities that have very strong energy signatures due to the worship, the praise, the awareness. Just consciousness of something alone gives it power. So if we have this same character playing out on all continents of the world, right, we have to assume, we don't have to, you could choose to, but ultimately we should assume that the energy signature of this character is so strong that the energy can be picked up on as a frequency in an individual as they embody these ancient ancestors. Okay? I do think that some people do come to deceive, and they want people to believe they are something more powerful than what they are. There are abilities to correlate information from every religion, every spirituality, all throughout times of man, that this deity, angel, or god or goddess had existed. You cannot tell me that energy frequency, that energy signature cannot be downloaded, picked up on. It's like a higher force is speaking through you. Okay? That higher force has an origin. And the origin is of an ancestry. See? So it goes back. This is what one must see when they are questioning why people are believing they are something that might sound crazy. But anyway, so ultimately, Doreen Virtue, I cannot find Archangel Metatron right now for some reason. Oh wow, I turned right to it. So Doreen Virtue, she denounced all the information that she wrote about Archangel Metatron in her book. And a lot of the information that she got in her book was information brought from different religious texts. So as you can see, there is Metatron's cube. So Metatron also correlates to the gematria. Metatron is all of the sacred geometry. There's different geometrical patterns that all fit into Metatron's cube, even the flower of life. So what is that? Information. So this is why one must see someone who embodies Enoch or Thoth or Metatron as someone who is a source of information, because every single sacred geometry is a form of information. It's just information in mathematics. So if I was to show you a symbol, if you don't know what it means, you are not privy to the information. If I was to show you the Merkaba, which is a spiritual pattern, right? It's a spiritual geometrical shape. It's a geometrical pattern, right? That correlates to our spiritual body, our aura, our vehicle. But a lot of people may not know that. So that's very important to know, like when we are learning about information, or when you are when someone's saying that they embody the energy of Metatron, you have to sense this is a person who has a lot of information. And these people do understand mathematics in a different way. The synchronicities that they correlate and make with numbers popping up, with visions. See, a person that embodies Metatron, Enoch, or Thoth energy signature is not going to just see 111 and look online and say, oh my God, I'm seeing spiritual numbers, or 333 or 555 or 777. No. One that embodies the energy signature of Archangel Metatron or Thoth or Enoch, they're going to get downloads in another way. When they see numbers, they pick up information in a different way. If you don't have the Metatron energy in you won't be able to pick it up. Now, if you guys take a look at my symbolism on my YouTube channel, I'm using Metatron's cube because I'm not a masculine. I'm clearly in a feminine body, but I do have, in my belief, a very strong connection to Metatron, because I not only am a seeker and student of life, but I'm also a take that out, take that ego out, I'm a teacher of life as well. And I understand information and downloads of information that I cannot explain with this human language. It literally has to be revealed to me in a way that I can explain it. But see, so someone that embodies the Metatron, Archangel energy, the Enoch energy, you can be feminine, you could be masculine, but if it's a feminine that has a masculine mind. Okay, when we're talking about the mental realm, they're not like a mental, think like a man or want thing, desires of man, but they are logical and they're also spiritual and one, and they're able to download information. So people that have the Enoch, sorry, I'm just holding this book up, but I wanted to show you Metatron's cube. Please excuse the background noise because there's someone outside that keeps honking, and I don't know why they keep honking, but right when you begin to get to the fun part, this type of things happen. So anyways, people that embody the energy signature or aspects of Enoch, Metatron, or Thoth as an ancestral energy are knowledgeable. Okay, these people have a lot of information and they want to provide information. They're like historians, librarians. They like facts. They don't like, and they are very keen judgmental people. Not judgmental people, but they have a very good judgment of people because they are the recorders of humanity. They are the recorders of pharaohs. They are the recorders of gods and goddesses. They understand the characteristics of the humans, the gods, and everything. So they know good energy, bad energy is what we would call it. But ultimately, they know your intentions. So people that embody Enoch, Metatron, or Thoth's energy, you may embody these characteristics. And since that you have this connection to Metatron, look at Metatron's cube. Does it speak to you? Because if it does, start to do your research, start to understand, understand. But yeah, so when it comes to the connection to Metatron, these people are extremely connected to the earth and the divine. They understand the information between realms. When you look at the tree of life, I will insert a picture as well. Metatron sits at the very top of these dimensions, the gateway to source, right? So, or Enoch, God lifted Enoch to be with at the gate, okay? So of course there are other gatekeepers that, you know, Enoch, Metatron, and Thoth is not the fighter. They're the sources of information. Okay, they understand and understand energy signatures. They know who you are, where you came from. They recorded it. So these people that are have the energy signature of Metatron or Enoch or Thoth, these people that, you know, you may see people on YouTube that say they are the embodiment of this, or they may say that they are like these people, right? What they mean by that, or these deities or these ancient angelic forces and things of that nature. There's people who don't even say that they do, but they portray all the characteristics, right? People who are knowledgeable, people who are good judges of character, people who do not operate with the heart, they operate with the mind. When you go into astrology, right? Because we could bounce around. We could go from history, we could go to astrology, we could go to mathematics, because Metatron is all of the above. Metatron is sacred geometry. Look at Metatron's cube. Okay, look at astrology. Metatron is ruled by Mercury, the mind. Okay, so it all correlates. If it doesn't correlate, if it doesn't match up across the board, then you have to question it. The energy signature does not go back in time enough for it to be strong enough for us to pick up on, right? Well, you ever been like a higher force spoke through you? You ever seen someone catch the Holy Ghost? That's like a lesser form. We're talking about ancient gods and goddesses that had roles based on oral text, based on literature that we have today. When we talk about these gods, goddesses, deities, angels, which one should never worship any of that. The only thing you worship is source. That's it. Source is within too. So, but ultimately, like I was saying, when it comes to one understanding, overstanding, if you carry those characteristics, or if you know someone who does, these are very smart people. They understand information on the spectrum. They're philosophers naturally. They're able to correlate everything and put it together and make sense of it. Because when you think about Metatron, Enoch, or Thoth, these are the sources of information. They sit at the highest realm on the tree of life. Next to they sit in a seat next to the throne of God, where they are able to translate information to you. Think about it. If I'm a physical person, right? Down here on the third dimension, physical plane, even though my consciousness is in higher realms, I am able to tap into energy signatures of what we call these ancient deities. The energies can speak through me, but how do they give us the information? Because Metatron cube is all form of information. How does the information flow through us? Dreams, synchronicities. Okay, I know this might go over a lot of people's head, because a lot of people do not have the energy signature of Metatron or Enoch or Thoth. See, I do. I share the energy. I channel that. Okay? So this is what I mean when you're able to make sense of complex concepts. Now, that's not the only angelic being or the ancient god or the ancient deity that I am connected to, that force. There are other energy signatures that I'm connected to, and there are some that I'm not. Okay? Sickmeth is the next one I'll do. When it comes to Metatron, angelic force, it doesn't deal with gender. Okay, that's a higher realm of things. Okay, but I don't want to go too far in that, because this world isn't even ready for that. This world is not ready for information about hermaphrodite energy. They're not ready for the sex to not even exist. That's where duality doesn't exist. In higher realms, that doesn't. Sometimes I have to come back down to lower realms because I'm like, girl, sorry y'all, I gotta put my soul in it sometimes. But yeah, anyways, so these are the recorders and keepers of information, what New Ages call the Akashic record. So another thing you have to understand is Enoch in history, when it comes to the spiritual texts, the book of Enoch, even in the Bible, when it comes to speaking of the story of Enoch, Enoch was born in Babylon. So, and this is very important because when you make correlation to this ancient energy signature, usually a lot of people that embody the Metatron, Enoch, or Thoth energy signature, they're born in poverty. They're born in ghettos. They're born in slums. They're born in high violent or high crime areas. So people that have the Enoch energy signature, Metatron energy signature, they at a very young age, they know the difference between right and wrong. Like, they understand, you know what I'm saying? They're not Mayat. That's another energy signature I will get into. I will get into people that have that. And you know those people. Those people are sometimes hard to deal with because the way they balance what's fair and right and wrong. No. But what I'm saying, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Metatron or Enoch or this energy signature is judgment. A balancing or weighing, not balancing, but weighing. Okay. It doesn't deal with that energy, but it does deal with knowing, like calling a spade a spade. These people are young, but they have old souls. When you do things wrong in front of a person that have the energy signature of Metatron or Enoch, they know it. Like they know it. They know what you're doing, and sometimes they just observe you, and they secretly want you to evolve out of that. You know, they want you to mature out of it. If they're in their lower self, people that have this natural connection to that energy, they can sense it and see it and call you out on it, you know, and just call you out on everything you do wrong. They are definitely in tune with the frequencies and energies of others. They are the recorder of behavior, the recorder of consciousness, the recorder of action and reaction. They are the recorder of the beginning of time. It's nothing new under the sun with them. They know what people are doing before they even think to try to get over on you. People that embody the Enoch energy, the Metatron energy, you cannot get over on them. They know what you're doing, but they're not going to destroy you or fight you like the Archangel Metatron energy. Archangel Michael energy, right? You know, they're not going to call you a bluff like Archangel Uriel energy. Okay? Now I'll get into those different energies and correlate it to other energies as well, because I want people to make sense of these times we're living in, right? It's the signs of the time. It's the new age. It's a lot of false prophets out here. It's a lot of people who just regurgitate information. They don't go within. They don't go without. See, I don't only go within to get my information, because a lot of my information gets like downloaded it to me, and I feel it so strongly, like I need to make this video. This is why I give you guys, like, this is why I go on my page and I say I'm starting a new series, because it comes to me usually around 2:30 in the morning, and it's crazy because I work my regular life, and so that's why I don't live on YouTube. I can't afford to do that, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to afford to do that. I would never want to even be in a position where I lived on YouTube. But anyways, I'm sorry, I digress. When it comes to like the information, when it comes, it's like I have to bring it. But I do utilize the resources that are given to us in this age of Aquarius. I like to compare and contrast information. This is why I like astrology. I like to study charts. I like to read aspects and see how the energy signatures of two planets are interacting. The signs that they're in. I can see that. So you got to understand. I'm sorry, guys. So usually these people are born in places where they're born into their gifts. Their gifts are awakened through negative experiences with people. They are natural psychologists. Another thing is Archangel Metatron, Thoth, or Enoch has the ability to invoke a remembrance or a remnants of immortality, because when you go back in time and look at the holy scriptures, right, sacred texts, you remember that Metatron did not just die or something like that. No, Metatron ascended, okay, from the flesh to crowned angelic force. So this is the only one that walked with the people, walked with the humans, that was a human being that was ascended into a high ranking angel. And so that is beautiful. So usually these are people that, don't fear death, like at all. And they always preach that. They always teach that. They always tell people not to fear something that is not real, because of the way we've been taught to think about passing over. And so, if that makes sense, ultimately these souls that incarnate here with the energy signature of Metatron, they truly understand immortality in a way that shows compassion, shows understanding, and brings forth knowledge. Okay, like think of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, or think of one who talks about what happens after you die or something, right? And teaches you step by step that it's not to be feared, it's to be embraced, and things of that nature. Usually the people that have Archangel Metatron or Enoch energy, Thoth energy, energy signatures, right, aspects, they will talk about things like that, and it's normal for them, because they're connected to that source of information, and they know it to be true. As long as you know it to be true, it's ultimate truth. If you don't believe in it, it's not true. This is why magic doesn't work unless you believe. Okay? So I gotta cut this video off. I hope that this video has been informative. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, because me talking about these type of things to the world feels so good. I'm creating. But I know I'm putting myself out there to get a lot of commentary that I don't, no one expects, the unexpected. So I'm expecting the worst, even though it surprises me how supportive my platform is, like the people who appreciate the knowledge. So thank you so much, humbly, from my heart. Thank you. And it's for you guys that I will do this for, continue to do this for, because my perspective speaks to people, and I'm so grateful for that. But yes, thank you so much for tuning in to Universal Love Law. Take care of yourself and keep those high vibes, all right? Peace.